Hello there, everybody. My name is Logan Thomas, and welcome to the Real Bros Podcast. And with me, as always, is my most excellent co-host,
Caden Green.
and we are
The Real Bros.
And today we are covering the Wolfman 2010 remake. We are going to go over the unrated version, which is it's essentially an extended version with a little bit more violence.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
A lot of it.
I think it's the better version. There's like a couple deleted scenes. It's maybe 20 minutes longer than the original, but not by much. What were your thoughts on the Wolfman? This was a first time view for you.
It was. I liked it, but yeah, like obviously this isn't my movie, but it's not in my top 10 now after watching it, but it's still good. It feels slow in some parts, and then when it's not just slowly walking around, it kind of feels just like a gallop.
Yeah, I mean this film, much like a lot of probably most of my top 10, they're not for everybody, but the way I see this movie is a good family drama and just a good werewolf story in general.
Yeah. Like, I will admit, it is a very good story in general.
It's a good way that you can kind of put a Victorian era on the Victorian era twist on the 1941 movie that this is a direct remake of. And while we're recording this, I have seen the newest remake of The Wolfman, directed by Lee Winnell, who was one of the creators of Saw, and he remade The Invisible Man, which is a fantastic horror movie.
I've actually seen that, and I liked it. It was a good premise.
It was a good way of modernizing a classic monster while making it somewhat in the range of believable.
Right.
And he did that for the new Wolfman, but it did have its drawbacks with just some of the family dynamics and stuff. But other than that, it was a great movie. Me and my fiance thought it was actually like genuinely kind of scary because of the idea of it.
Right.
Not the movie itself, but the idea of it. And the different thought process of werewolfism.
Which isn't that like an actual name for something? The transformation into a werewolf?
I don't think there's a name for it. I know they consider there's a scientific name for werewolfism, and that's lycanthropy.
That's what it is.
But that's I read a book on supernatural disorders, and all lycanthropy was just like there was just like a really hairy guy who looked like kind of like one of the Sasquatches from the Slim Jim or Jack Link's or whichever beef jerky company it is.
Right.
He looks like one of those guys. And that was really all it was.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah. Other than that, this is a really good movie. The acting is terrific in this movie.
Yeah. That is kudos to the people that made it, the people that played in it. They did a very good job, and I will 100% stand by that.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say except when I first saw this, I like watched it on repeat for like a week because like it just did it for me. I don't really know how else to describe it because I've always been a good monster movie fan,
right?
And like it just checked those boxes for me, especially when I like the Victorian era and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it just did it for me. Would you ready to get into your quick review?
Anything else you want to add first?
this movie is not going to be for everybody. It's incredibly gory.
Oh, absolutely. Which is why it's normally rated what, R?
The theatrical cut is rated R, but we are going over the unrated version. So we're not kids.
It's a lot worse.
It's a lot worse
than somehow an R-rated would be.
It's not quite NC-17, but you don't see that very often, anyways.
No.
Hell, most of the time, if you see an unrated movie, they're just gonna give it that brand and not even give it rated NC-17 because most people don't want anything to do with that rating because they think the movie is just like terrible.
Right.
So they'll just brand it unrated just to make sure it sells or whatever. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add.
All right. So we're gonna get into the quick review.
Mm-hmm.
So, as said before, this movie that we're covering is The Wolfman, and this is the 2010 remake, and it is unrated. And the movie takes place in England, 1891, following Lawrence Talbot as he tries to investigate his brother's murder. During his investigation, he will come across several groups of people that he'll ask for aid or guidance from, and he'll also reconnect with his father, who he has a estranged relationship with.
That's kind of an understatement.
Yeah. And Lawrence's brother fiance also plays a part in the movie?
Yes.
Correct. So that's a part to keep in mind, is it's not just Lawrence himself. It is Lawrence's fiance as well. But the majority of the movie will follow Lawrence, Mr. Talbot, as he's called.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else.
All right.
Is there anything else that you think should be added for the quick review?
This movie has a sense of mystery to it.
Oh yeah.
Like, so there are two werewolves in this movie. This movie's been out long enough. I don't think that really needs to be a spoiler. But yeah. So like, pretty much the entire first half of the movie is trying to figure out who this first werewolf. Sorry, who the first werewolf is.
Different genre there, buddy.
Yeah.
Different character altogether, actually.
Yeah. This isn't as sexually charged as a vampire movie is.
Yeah. Unless you're talking about Twilight.
They don't twinkle. No, but yeah, there is very much a sense of mystery in this movie. I think that's why I like it, because I like a good mystery. And like pretty much the rest of the second half is just
answers almost.
I don't want to say it's answers, but it's mostly just like werewolf action.
Yeah.
And just a character study almost, if you want to even want to call it that. But yeah. Are we ready for the production tales segment?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. In March of 2006, 4 years before this movie came out, announced a remake of The Wolfman with actor Benicio del Toro, who plays Lawrence Talbot in this movie.
Very good job.
And I guess he is a huge fan of the 1941 Wolfman. I guess he's a huge memorabilia collector and everything. When he did all the makeup and stuff, he wanted to pull from Werewolf of London, which is technically Universal's first werewolf movie.
Right.
And Curse of the Werewolf, I haven't seen that one. I think that's the Hammer Productions iteration of the Wolfman.
Right.
But I'm not going to say that for sure because I don't know that for sure. In 2007, they had director Mark Romanek was going to direct the film, and his vision was to infuse a balance of cinema in a popcorn movie scenario, stating, "Where there's a certain amount of money involved, these things make studios and producers a little nervous. They don't understand it, or they feel like that the balance will swing too far into something esoteric, and we could never come to agreement on that balance."
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like he wanted to make something not in the studio's eye. Like he wanted to make like a maybe like a art film or something. Maybe dealing more of like a character study. Which, if you really look at it, Lawrence Talbot's one of the most sad characters in the monster world because he was just a normal guy.
Oh yeah.
And he always tries to do the right thing, and it never works for him.
No.
After a year, Romanek left the project, and they had a couple different directors in mind. Frank Darabont, who he did, if I'm remembering this right, he did Shawshank Redemption.
I don't think I've seen that.
I saw that in a film class. It's a really good movie. It's based on a Stephen King short.
Mm-hmm.
James Mangold, who did Logan, Walk the Line, the new Bob Dylan movie, A Completely Unknown. He does good character study films.
Yeah.
And Joe Johnston. And Joe Johnston directed Captain America: The First Avenger, which is my favorite Captain America movie. But that's also because I'm a big like World War II, kind of like that era of America. I'm a really big fan of that.
Right.
But so they hired Johnston, and he hired David Self to rewrite the entire script, and it became what we got. Shooting took place from March 3rd to the 23rd in June of 2008 in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
They shot at Pinewood Studios, which is like one of the famous studios in England. They also shot in Lacock in Wiltshire, and just like a bunch of places in England for a bunch of their exteriors and like some of the on location stuff.
Right.
Sounds like there really wasn't a lot of reshoots. They had to do some reshoots over the weekends in like 2 weekends in May of the following year just to fix some things.
Right. And I mean, reshoots for that kind of movie where 99% of it is live action, it's gonna be certain.
Yeah, and it sounds like most of it was the Wolfman and Werewolf stuff. So I'm gonna guess it was like that climb in the end, but we're not gonna say that right now. Which I can kind of understand.
Yeah, without going too far into it, there's a lot of, I want to say, quick shots.
Yeah.
So I can understand like a shot being missed or.
And I can kind of understand where like that entire sequence was just kind of like thrown in there.
Right.
I mean, like I understand why they would want to do it, but like the setting and everything of like and how they did it, I can kind of understand where it would be like, well, the studio wanted this, so let's just put up a set in one room and just film that one sequence.
Right.
Because it really wasn't elaborate.
No.
Rick Baker, who did American Werewolf in London, which is considered one of the greatest werewolf transformations in cinema, did the makeup for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
they did a lot of body stuff with Benicio del Toro. He wore all the makeup himself because he is like such a diehard Wolfman fan.
Right. I mean, that must be a cool experience, you know? You watch this movie as a kid or growing up, and then you're finally able to get an opportunity to play it. Yeah,
Right.
like, if that was me, I would 100% certain do all the makeup.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, for this new one, Ryan Gosling was in the same exact shoes. He's like, Wolfman's like one of my favorite horror movies. I know Universal's trying to remake a bunch of them. He was like, he was on that project for like 10 years. And then when this year was like, well, we liked what Lee Whannell did with Invisible Man. I think we're going to go with this. He was like, I don't want anything to do with the project. You can put me down as a producer for it, but I don't want anything to do with the project.
Right.
But it's whatever it is. I mean, do I feel like it'd be cool to see what he wanted? Yeah, because he was on it as a passion project, kind of like what Benicio del Toro did for this movie, and you can see he puts a lot of heart in his performance and just the kind of stuff he does for the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, his acting is top notch. You can tell he's in character all the
Yeah.
time.
There. I don't want to say there's a lot of CGI in this movie. There's definitely some. The only really thing they do with the werewolf for CGI is the transformations.
Right.
Because other than that, it's just like full body makeup. They try to do a lot of the gore and stuff practically. But yeah, maybe some of the locations might be have CGI on it or whatever.
Right.
But it was kind of like that early 2010 CGI kind of thing,
Right.
which kind of carried over until now. But we're going to talk about that.
See, I can't remember if I've talked about it before. I love practical effects. Just the amount of detail that you have to do to make it look good, and 90% of the time it does. And you can tell that there's effort put into it. And it's not just computer programs. It's physical props that actors interact with.
and
And
that's and
sorry,
that
go, go ahead.
that kind of goes with the same thing about acting on like a set or on location, where you get to like use the environment to your advantage, other than like you're standing in like a set and you have just a blue screen and it's like, oh yeah, that's the universe behind me. Do you believe that?
And whereas like let's take the original Alien movie. From article after article that I've read, the actors had no idea what was going to come out of the original crewmate's chest when the chest burster first appeared. They had no idea what was going to happen. And so all that fear and terror on their face was genuine.
That was like the same thing for the It 2017 movie. The kids weren't allowed to see Pennywise until one of the scenes. Like they
Oh,
kind of like kept him separate.
oh, that's
It's kind of the same thing, but that's also kind of terrifying because it's a bunch of kids.
well. See, the thing with that is it's an actor, like a physical human actor, so they can really. Besides, the guy that played Pennywise is a really nice guy.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård's like a sweetheart.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the clips of him interacting with the actors?
Yeah, he's like hugging them and like
Making sure they're all right after certain stunts.
and that's I feel like that almost had to be a given,
Yeah.
especially when you're like, hey, I'm a guy that eats kids. I better make sure I'm not traumatizing these kids forever because I don't want any therapy bills sent to me.
Yeah. But no, just I love practical effects.
Yeah.
Practical effects, they're one of the best things ever. But I'm not gonna shy away from CGI movies though.
Yeah, because a lot of these ideas, like You have to do them in some aspects,
Yeah.
but I just wish people would try to make an effort of attempting practical first, and just like, well, let's just have the CG team do it.
Like, yeah, for the Wolfman, there's going to be practical. There's going to be CGI, which I understand. You're not going to have some guy physically transform into a werewolf in front of you and continue the movie.
People just don't know how to make movies anymore. If I was directing this movie, I would have went out there, found a real werewolf,
and then been mauled by it.
But I would have had the realism.
Oh yeah, let's make a movie about making a movie about a werewolf.
Dude, that'd be a cool parody movie. They did that in the early 2000s with a vampire movie. They were showing the original making of the original Nosferatu,
right?
With Willem Dafoe playing the vampire, and the director cast a vampire to play the character of a vampire, not realizing it.
And they get in the role pretty well, though.
Hey, I mean, you could do the same thing with a werewolf and just be like, all right, stay right there. We're going to do some cuts and just add some makeup onto you. And you turn around, he's just like a werewolf, and you just like, keep rolling.
Well, they got that makeup on pretty quick.
And the makeup people just walk up, she's like, we haven't started yet. And you're just like, ah, crap. Just dead.
I think we're getting off topic, maybe a little bit.
I mean, we're still talking about werewolves. It's all right.
Kind of.
About our found footage werewolf movie making thing. But
all right, so we've talked about some of the actors. We've talked about the movie itself. We've talked about CGI. What's left?
The budget.
There we go.
The budget for this film was initially $85 million.
Okay. Not bad.
But
there's always
some things came up, and it ended up costing $135 million.
Oh. Okay.
So I feel like that those reshoots were kind of expensive.
Well, maybe a little bit.
I
mean, granted, if you think about it, depending on who the actors were, where they were at when the reshoots had to be, in like certain locations.
Yeah.
If you got to film there specifically.
This is telling me that the budget was somewhere between 135 and 150 actually. So, and the movie grossed altogether 142.
So right now we're kind of in the middle about what the movie cost.
Depending on which one it was, it either overperformed or underperformed.
All right.
But like the smartest thing to do would just be like, the budget was probably most likely 140 or 145.
Right.
So it probably, I'm gonna lowball and say 140. So I'm gonna guess that just slightly made its money back. In the opening weekend, it grossed 31 million. Internationally, it grossed 77 million, and in the U.S. and Canada, it grossed 62 million.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. It just.
Sorry, go ahead.
It just feels like there's just a lot of inconsistency there, and you're gonna get that when you have reshoots, because you're never gonna get like the exact amount, especially when they're just like keep throwing money into it.
Right.
You're never gonna know like what the set number was.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just gonna say it.
Kind of go for the middle of it.
Yeah.
Ignore that. We have an actual wolf in our studio right now.
Yeah, that's the werewolf for our parody movie.
We're already getting started on it.
Yeah, we decided to get the money around and everything 2 seconds ago, and we already shot the infamous scene where everybody dies. So yeah, we don't like to mess around. We like to get our productions done.
We're already done with the movie.
Yep, we just edited everything too. And right now it's in a theater near you.
Excluding the USA.
Yep. Only in one town in Romania is this movie showing. So get your tickets now.
And it's only in Spanish.
And you just missed it. It's on Blu-ray now.
It's still only in Spanish.
Yep. There's not even English subtitles. There's only Spanish subtitles.
Oh, you thought it's international? Nope. It's only in a Walmart in Romania.
Yep. It's not Italian, in Spanish.
Still only in Spanish.
That just shows how good a businessman we are.
Oh, absolutely. We can only sell to one theater in Romania.
And not even in their own language. And we can't even afford English subtitles. All the budget was blown by paying back all the families for all the cruisemen who lost their lives.
Alright.
On with the movie, man.
Yeah, finally.
So this is your spoiler alert. I would say if you're not like a diehard werewolf fan, this movie's probably not for you.
And if you're on the squeamish side, this movie definitely isn't for you.
I would say it's like a nice on-ramp if you're like wanting to get into gore.
Right.
It's not terrible, but it's still pretty graphic.
Yeah. Like there are movies that are worse, but there are also movies that are more tame on the graphic side.
Yeah, if there was like let's say there's like a grading system, like a first grade, second grade, third grade, I would call this like a second grade gore movie. And like, let's say third is the highest.
Right.
So this is like that nice middle ground. And like, let's say Terrifier is third grade or fourth grade.
Yeah. I wonder when we're going to be covering that series. Never.
Honestly, I'll probably let Carly sit in your spot for that one. Because like, that's like her thing. Art the Clown is the greatest horror character since Michael Myers.
Right.
Meh. I will watch the first one. I have watched all of them, including the anthology film All Hallows Eve, which is like the creator's many short films that he made about Art the Clown. I mean, since I've seen Terrifier 3, 2 makes a lot more sense. But I don't know. It's meh. We gotta stop getting off topic over here.
This is our worst episode yet, and we haven't even gotten to the actual episode.
I know. Once we start talking about horror movies, it just
down spiral.
It does. Too many side quests, in our mind. It's yeah.
I don't know.
Is there anything you want to add before we get to the spoiler review?
If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a good movie overall. Not a family movie, or by any means.
Yeah, show your 5-year-old this and see how long they try to sleep in their beds without the night light on at night. Mommy, I heard a dog in my room.
That's just a werewolf. But just overall, a good movie. I would definitely give it a watch. Then, if you haven't, go watch it before we do the spoiler review.
So yeah, pause the show, go see it, come back.
Are you back? All right.
Great. We missed you guys. We're already talking about the movie.
Gotta take it away?
You know it, sir.
Alrighty.
Now this is the unrated cut. So you're probably only going to see the theatrical version because I had to like buy an international copy of this movie to get the unrated version, but worth it. So the movie starts with a full moon, and if you have seen the original Wolfman, there's a phrase that's spoken. I want to say like 5 or 10 times in like the original movie. It's if even if a man that's pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms when the autumn moon is bright. And so the movie starts with that on like a pretty much like a granite slab, and then it like flashes to the Wolfman. I mean, really, there is a howl there. There's like a blood drip on there, and then the when Wolf turns into the moon, and we find. Are you gonna take this seriously?
I'm trying.
We're professionals, for crying out loud.
Are we?
I think we are. As the film exits the title sequence, we find Ben Talbot, who is Lawrence Talbot's younger brother, wandering in Blackmore, which is where Talbot Hall is, in the middle of the night, and he is chased by something.
Oh.
And we later find it's a werewolf.
Oh.
And what a surprise in a werewolf movie that his guy is killed by a werewolf.
Oh.
But no, this is actually this is like our first jump scare. This movie is full of jump scares.
Oh. Alright, I'll quit for now.
That's the scariest thing I've heard since watching this movie.
Alright, I'm done.
But he is disemboweled, and
Man, I guess you could say that takes a lot of guts.
you get one good one every episode.
That joke was pretty gutsy.
You're only allowed one per episode, not two per episode.
I don't think he could stomach it.
No guts, no gory.
Mine
wasn't as good, but I tried.
No, that was good.
Then we cut to Lawrence, who is our main character. What are you laughing at?
I don't know.
This is a serious movie, man. There you go. We switched to Lawrence. This is going to be an editing nightmare. Gwen finds Lawrence. He is an actor, and he is portraying. I believe he's portraying Macbeth. And Gwen is Ben's fiance.
Yeah. And she's the one I mentioned in the quick summary.
Yes. Nobody knows he's dead yet. They just assume he's missing. And Lawrence says, well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, why do you think something's wrong? And she says, like, 2 or 3 townspeople were murdered the same night. And he went missing. And he says, I am on a contract with this troupe, and we're going to America tomorrow, so I can't help you. And so he ushers her out, and then we find him on a train, and he decided to go home. And in this is only like for sure scene I know about that's in this cut only. An elderly man offers Lawrence a cane with a silver wolf head and a hidden blade in it. And this is a reference to the original film in 1941 where he buys a wolf cane and uses it as It's kind of an important plot device in that movie. That's a nice little nod. In the theatrical version, he just wakes up and it's there.
Right.
And this version, it talks with this old man and everything. Um, the wagon pulls. He has the wagon stop like a mile from his house, which is Talbot Manor, where his father lives. And he walks the rest of the way, and there's like a bunch of like animal statues and stuff. Because his father made his fortune on hunting. His father's like a world-renowned huntsman.
Like, is it hunting? Like, are the statues like stone statues, or were they taxidermied?
There are stone statues.
Okay.
But like you can see, like when we get inside the house, there's like a bunch of like heads and pelts all around the house. And like if you really notice in some of the hallway sequences, you can see like antlers and stuff. He has made like chandeliers and stuff.
Right.
So he's like furnished his house to acknowledge his hunting trophies, kind of.
Right.
But he walks inside the house and he's greeted by a gigantic dog. Not a werewolf, dog.
Oh, wow.
And his name is Samson.
What is it again?
Samson.
Samson. Okay.
And we meet Sir John Talbot, which is played by Anthony Hopkins. And I think this is one of his better roles because he really plays the creepy, off guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't suspect him to be like a villain or something, but you like know that just like something's off with him.
Like, oh, hey, this guy, I think he might be hiding this severed heads in his basement type situation.
And he doesn't play off as a bad guy, really. He just plays off as like this estranged, isolationistic father.
Yeah.
And they really play this relationship well throughout this movie. Because like John does love his son. But with the events with his mother and how she died, he just like couldn't look at him
Right.
anymore because his mother was a gypsy. And so Lawrence has darker skin to match that kind of Romani kind of like tone to himself. And Ben was white.
Right.
And so that was like the difference in why he kept Ben around and why he kind of got rid of Lawrence, sent him to America and everything. But he finds out that Ben's body was found. And he's being kept in the... Back then they had ice houses where they kept like gigantic blocks of ice.
See, I don't know why, but I thought it was like a crypt almost.
There is a crypt in this movie.
Okay.
But you can only call it a morgue when there's really like when it's a small village like that. But Lawrence investigates his body and he just seems like it's been like torn to shreds.
Yeah. Like large claw slashes against his chest and like a huge bite out of his like shoulder neck area, right?
And like I think half his face is clawed off.
Yeah.
I believe. Anyways, it jumps to Lawrence sitting in a tavern with a Romani gypsy coin, and he overhears some of the villagers like, "These gypsies brought this upon us. Like this is a curse." And Lawrence gets offended by this, and he's like, "Well, who are you?" And he's like, "Well, I'm Lawrence Talbot." And they're like, "Ooh, crap," because like, so the Talbots are kind of like the, I don't want to say the lords of this town,
But they have high
standing.
Yeah.
But it just cuts to dinner in the Talbot house that night. John likes to have exotic foods, because he's a worldly man, and Lawrence is like still eating the same stuff I see, and there's like it's like a family drama scene. You start to sense that something's off with John even more, like how much he tries to like pay attention to Gwen and everything, how he tries to like I want to say like forces her to do stuff, but it's like here do this or try this, especially.
Is very passive aggressive,
Yeah,
leaning heavily on the aggressive part.
yeah. But John and Lawrence get into an argument, and Gwen storms off. She's like, "I didn't mean to cause such a stir up." And then we cut to John and Lawrence having a chat in John's study. In which case, Lawrence asks like about the gypsies and everything because he's essentially trying to investigate what happened to his brother.
Right.
And which is kind of interesting because he's an actor. Like he doesn't really have much investigative experience, I would say.
Right.
But it does make for a cool plot for the movie.
No. Like I understand where they're coming from. Like, oh yeah, your sibling just passed away. Or my sibling passed away and I need to figure out what did it. I'm gonna stop at nothing. Like from that standpoint I can understand. But Lawrence doesn't really seem all like a family kind of guy.
No, and you can kind of understand that from the way he was raised.
Yeah.
But he goes to this gypsy encampment, and he's like, "I want to know who had this coin," because he found the coin on his brother's body. So he takes the coin and he asks around, and then very soon, the entire camp falls under attack by a werewolf.
Oh.
Yeah, not that one, a cooler one.
Ouch.
Friggin'
But you're right. It isn't the one from Twilight.
Native Americans in their skin jumping. Because that's essentially what it is in Twilight. And don't tell me I'm wrong.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Twilight.
The werewolves in Twilight is a Native American tribe.
Okay, I've never seen it. All I know is that it's vampires versus werewolves.
It's really not. It's just, hey, this guy likes this girl. He's a werewolf.
This guy likes this girl. He's a vampire. They fight over said girl.
Yeah, it's
Werewolf versus vampire. Don't tell me anything else.
it's barely that. It's more teen angsty and hormone driven vampire, quote unquote, versus quote unquote werewolves.
I'll never watch it though.
I've only seen the first one. Not by my own fruition, no.
Aha.
Anyways,
The town's under attack. That's where we were last at.
yeah. So Lawrence grabs a rifle, and he's a pretty good shot.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I'm only assuming because his dad raised him how to shoot.
Yeah.
But he sees this kid run off in like a stone structure. It's kind of like Stonehenge, but it's not Stonehenge kind of situation. And so this like really like moors, like London foggy, kind of like how like Frankenstein or Dracula kind of is. You know what I mean?
I think we're missing a part. You said the town was under attack.
I said the gypsy village was under attack.
Oh.
Like their little encampment.
Yeah. I thought you said town originally.
No.
But something that I find funny is just a little side note. The townspeople think that it's the gypsies' fault because they have a pet dancing bear.
Yeah.
And, oh, it's adorable. I want it.
He is a very adorable bear.
And I think that's a real bear, too, right?
He was a CGI bear. If you, like, really look at it, you can tell. I know. Because bears are dangerous, you know.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, could have had it just for that scene, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, well, that was probably wasn't in the budget either. So, getting a real werewolf took a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Oh, we should know.
Oh yeah, we absolutely know. We're broke right now. We need sponsors. Hit us up, man. Yeah. Anyways, the local constable finds, like, here's a scream in a tent, so he goes to investigate. The werewolf, like, rips his arm off, and then proceeds to shove his claws, like, under his throat and out through his mouth, and just yanks him in.
It's a really cool execution.
It really is. And they don't show this werewolf. They just see him in, like, quick movements and flashes.
Like, he runs behind, I want to say, like, tents and buildings.
Yes.
And you only see slight bits of his silhouette as he's running.
Yeah, and they portray werewolves in this movie as both bipedal
and quadrupedal.
Yes. When they're in full running mode, they're quadrupedal.
Which I think that's fairly common amongst most werewolf media.
Yeah. Because when you go into werewolf territories, it is pretty much like a gigantic wolf that what turns into a man.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about wolfman, that's pretty much just like a man who just grows the features of a wolf.
What's the bestiality of a wolf?
Yes. And that was one of the things that the 2025 movie got really well. And I'm not talking about that movie, I'm talking about this. Anyways.
Back to this movie.
Yeah. Sorry for all the side quests for this one, everybody. I don't know what's going on. What was that? Anyways.
But before we get back into it, I want to talk about, like, that little constable thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but
yeah,
like, when the claws go in, it kind of gives you a side view before he's pulled in.
Yeah.
And it lingers there for a couple seconds.
Yeah, because it like shakes the tent or whatever he's in.
Yeah.
Like, to know, like, well,
he ain't coming out of there in one piece.
he's gone.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the kid. Lawrence follows this kid, and he sends the kid back to the camp, and he's like, because he hears it, and so he's like in this hunter mode, and the monster's on one of the stones, and he jumps down and gnaws his neck, and then he runs off into the distance. And that's like the last time we see this werewolf until later on in the movie.
I want to say about the ending, almost, right?
Yeah. Because at this point, the movie transitions to... This is pretty much like... I'm going to say this next section takes place over a week or so.
Give or take.
Because it's pretty much a bunch of shots of Lawrence healing and recuperating and getting really weird visions.
And he's bonding with Gwen as well, right?
Yeah, because she's nursing him back to health because she feels responsible about sending him on this kind of like quest for answers.
Yeah.
He sees visions of the wolf that gets him, and this ugly feral child that we don't really understand what it is until later on in the movie. And they do foreshadow a lot in this part for like what's to come ish. Like you'll see it once you see the movie, but like us just describing is like, well, this plot point connects to this plot point at this exact moment in the film. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does that, but it's more of just trying to like give you a bunch of jump scares.
Like, ooh, feral child, be scared. Ooh, werewolf, be scared.
Pretty much.
Ooh, rock skipping, be scared.
Yeah. Which is what happens. I want to say that happens next.
I think that's when his first vision comes in, is when he's rock skipping. Because, like, his eyes start to blur, don't they?
Yeah, it kind of. One of the things I like about this movie is it shows in progression his senses changing.
Yeah.
Because
Lawrence's,
yes.
I don't think we clarified that. He was the one that got bit in the neck.
Yes. But like you show his eyes becoming sensitive to light.
The reflection.
Yes, and he starts to be able to hear things a lot better. He's getting stronger. His arm and shoulder heals in like under a month.
Yeah.
He's able to hold like a group of 10 men back with his own two hands. And people are really starting to suspect something of him. And at this point, a detective from London arrives in Blackmore. His name is Inspector Aberline.
I think that sounds right.
I know he's played by Hugo Weaving. But if anybody knows anything about history or something like that, but Aberline is the guy who was trying to catch Jack the Ripper and notoriously failed. But London sent him in here to pretty much investigate the murders that have been happening. And he interviews Lawrence.
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah. I like his character. He stands on a lot of formality. He's a very proper gentleman.
Yeah.
But he's not afraid to like push
buttons to get what he wants.
And so pretty much the interview just ends abruptly because he's like, I don't like what you're implying, and you can ask what you will about me, but like you're not going to find any evidence because I didn't kill anybody. And clearly nobody believes him.
And it's during this like interview that we really start to see Lawrence's connection to animals, as Samson starts to become aggressive towards the inspector when Lawrence seems to get agitated.
Yeah, and like that's very short lived because as soon as like he gets closer to changing, Samson starts to like growl at him again and stuff. But Lawrence realizes that something is wrong with him, and so he sends Gwen away back to London. And so his father notices this has happened, and he follows his dad to a crypt where his mother is buried, and Lawrence sees this like hidden door,
right?
And he finds like this. How would I want to say this?
An electric chair without the electric.
It's essentially a bunker.
Yeah.
Where, like Caden said, there's like an electric chair, but it's just like a bunch of straps and like pretty much a place where you lock someone up.
Yeah, it's more like a constraint kind of chair.
Yes, it's a constraining chair. how do I want to say his father pretty much is like, I wish you hadn't seen your mother die the way she did, and I'm sorry for how I raised you. And he's pretty much like, ever since your mother died, I'm pretty much dead myself. And so he locks him out. And as John steps away, his eyes
glow as he retreats almost into the shadows, right?
yeah, and reflect kind of like how canine eyes
reflect light.
Yeah. I don't know if that's foreshadowing. It might be.
Ooh, foreshadow.
But before he locks him out, he's like, the beast will have its day, son. And as Lawrence turns to leave the cave, he begins to transform. And
Autobots, roll out.
Now that is copyright infringement. Oh, I am so sorry.
But I would say that's a pretty good transformation.
It's a very good transformation, but like if you notice a lot of these movies who have stuff like this, they usually do one where it's like in the shadows.
Yeah, and this one was the one that was in the shadows, but even then, I think it was done pretty well.
Yeah, because the second transformation is like completely in light, and everything is like you see it all happen in front of your eyes. And this one I feel like is more fun to leave up to the imagination, because you would imagine the first transformation to be the most painful.
And you can hear the pain as it's happening.
Yeah, they make the transformation in this movie very graphic.
Yes.
And very much like excruciating, bone crunching. Yeah, it's not a fun process.
No.
And he lets out this howl that can be like heard for miles. And so group townsmen are pretty much setting up a gigantic trap for the Wolfman. Caden, how does that trap go?
Bloody.
Like one of the guys literally falls into his own trap with the Wolfman.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different scene, but this one takes place in the forest.
Yes.
And the whole startup is that they've tied a deer to almost a ruined church building.
Yeah, and the deer gets away.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense, you know? A massive monster is running towards you. You do anything in your power to try and get away from it.
Not a human.
No.
Except one. He pretty much just obliterates everybody.
In some pretty gnarly ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, sorry, go ahead.
Like, there is gore in this, but there's like a sense of humor to it.
Yeah. Like, there's a trap that's like just a big hole in the ground. One guy falls in, and the wolf jumps after him. And I think he rips the guy's arm off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he uses it to smack another guy into the hole.
Yeah, and then another guy's arm flies up, and it lands, and like a gunshot flies out of it. At this point, one of the guys is running. He gets caught in quicksand, and he's like, "This werewolf ain't gonna get me." Puts his gun to his head, pulls the trigger, and he's out.
Yeah.
And just as he's like, "Oh crap!" the werewolf just knocks his head off with one swing.
Yeah.
And then at this point, the inspector has heard the commotion. He's out there looking, and he finds the scene of just like carnage. And there's the one guy left, and he's just like, "Oh man, this guy's after me. I'm never gonna make it out of here." He hears a twig snap, and you're like, "Ooh!" So you're like just ready to shoot. We don't see what he's aiming at, but when the gun flashes, we see the werewolf is just like there, right beside him in the shadow. And that's such a cool shot. I loved it.
And yeah, because he's he's not aiming at the wolf, is he? The wolfman's next to him.
Yeah, but he just hears a noise and he assumes it's the werewolf, and so he's just like, "Oh, I got this guy." Wrong.
It's such a good sequence.
And we wake up the next morning and Lawrence is just like completely bloodied, and the townsmen come and take him away. He's taken back to London and put in a insane asylum where he was pretty much in as a kid because of the trauma of seeing his mother dead.
Yeah.
And at this point, we believe that she killed herself with a straight razor. I believe.
That is. So the movie really shows you more of his trauma through flashbacks as the movie goes on.
Yes.
Like the first flashback, you learn that his mother died at a young age in his father's arms, and he stumbles upon both of them and just goes crazy, I would assume.
Yeah.
And then the second flashback, we learn a little detail of there's a straight razor in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like little bits and pieces like that add up.
Yeah, and then this is pretty much like a good 10 minutes of just like pretty much like a torture insane asylum montage, and then his father visits him, in which we learn that his father is indeed the werewolf.
Yes.
And that he got the disease from a little feral boy in the mountains of the Himalayas, I believe he said.
Yes.
Um,
And from what I have written down in my notes, he's had the virus or disease for 25 years at this point.
yes. And he brought it home, of course, and he killed his wife.
Yeah, and this is where we get like the true unfiltered flashback where it's his father kind of, I want to say half transformed.
Oh, he's fully transformed.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Fully transformed, just laying over his wife. And what was it, like a gnash to the
Like he bit her throat.
Yeah.
Like he ripped out her jugular.
And the best way I can say is that was Lawrence's kind of coping mechanism.
Yeah. I just really think that I don't really know how Lawrence survived that encounter.
I mean, if you think about it, with John having it for as long as he did, he probably has some control, even at that point in time.
Right.
And I mean, like later on in the movie, there's plenty of reason that would make sense.
Right. Because like he does mention he does love his son.
Yeah.
But
just not the other one.
There's reasons for that, but we were going to talk about right now. He pretty much says that he'd locked himself up every full moon for years. But when Gwen came into their lives, he says he had a spark in his life that he hadn't felt forever. So he pretty much fell in love with Gwen.
Right.
And then when Ben told John that he's like, me and Gwen are moving, we're getting married, and that night Lawrence didn't make it to the bunker, and he killed Ben.
Right. And so we now know that John is the reason Ben's dead.
And so pretty much John gives Lawrence a straight razor. He's like, you can't live with this, just kill yourself. Essentially.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not strong enough, just end it.
Yeah.
In which case, Lawrence is like, I gotta stop you, you're a monster.
Pretty much this is where, like, the revenge part of the movie would take in. if this was like a more action-driven movie.
Yeah. At this point is when he's so the scientist that's working with Lawrence, he is not the greatest person on the planet.
No, they want to call it off as a mental disorder, right?
A mental disorder and a way of dealing with repressed memories.
So they're doing everything from submerging him fully in ice water,
While in a straitjacket strapped to a chair.
and I don't know if anybody's been underwater with like sideways on their back in the water. It is not the most pleasant feeling to feel the water in your nose.
Well, this is also 1891. People thought that mental disorder could be solved with
Torture.
couple torturous events.
Well, it was that and what, like an electric chair, a little shock therapy.
It was more of like they injected him with something.
Mm,
Anyways,
didn't do anything.
no. But this doctor calls a press conference with all the scientists in the area, and guess what? It's a full moon.
Ooh.
He pretty much like admits is like, I'm gonna kill all of you, get me out of here.
Now.
And of course nobody listens, and this is when we get the full in front of our eyes transformation. And this transformation is pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. And it's in this scene. It's kind of like a auditorium where
Yes.
a bunch of psychiatrists are just observing Lawrence and the main scientist, psychiatrist dude, whatever.
Yeah.
Lawrence has a grudge against the main guy, and we know this. And we also know that. Where am I going? When he transforms, he makes sure his main target
Is the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple people in his way, but as they're running past him, he's not just swiping left and right, which leads me to the understanding like, oh, even as a new blood, a new werewolf, they still have some kind of control.
And he sends this guy flying through a window, and he gets impaled by a metal grated fence.
Yeah, not a good way to go.
No. One of the other helpers gets disemboweled, and we see some steak-looking intestines ripped out of this guy's torso. And this whole sequence leads to pretty much like a 14-minute werewolf loose in London
Chase scene, pretty much.
Yeah, he's running on the rooftops. He like jumps out and just like squats a police officer. He knocks over a bus. He like slashes everybody up in the bus. Blood squirting everywhere.
It's like a it's like a red fountain in a park.
Yeah. But it ends with a bunch of the police force with rifles and stuff trying to shoot at him in a barricade. He jumps over it. Pretty much is taking refuge by the river Thames.
If I can interrupt real quick.
That's fine.
I think that's one of my favorite scenes is just the police blockade, because you have this like decently long alleyway.
Yeah.
And you have like, I want to say like 12, 15 policemen.
I'd say at least with like high powered rifles and revolvers and stuff.
And they're all shooting at him, and you just see how fast the werewolf is as he's bouncing back and forth while still moving.
And just jumps over him.
Yeah.
Anyways, he wakes up in the sewers. He finds Gwen's family curio shop, which is a nod to the original, because that's what she has in the town in the original movie. And he's pretty much like, I have to stop my father. He's the cause of all this. And he walks back to Blackmore.
Which that's a long walk if you think about it.
Because it takes him an entire lunar cycle to get back home.
Yeah, a long walk.
That's pretty much a month. Almost.
And I didn't catch that when we watched it, that he just walked there.
Yeah. Because he's a wanted man. He's like trying out different disguises and stuff. But he arrives at Talbot Hall and he's like, full moon's tonight. This ends tonight. And meanwhile, a couple hours earlier in the day, Gwen arrives in Blackmore by horse, and so does Aberline and pretty much his team. He pretty much spreads them out like, hey, you go here, you go here, you go here. And Gwen finds one of the gypsy women who was talking to Lawrence in the beginning of the movie, and her name is Maleva. And that is a character from the original as well. Which pretty much says the only way you can cure him is by saving him, which is quote unquote shooting him, like killing him.
Right.
Because there is no curing this kind of werewolf in this iteration. And I guess only a loved one can set them free, according to Maleva. So,
well, Logan, I hate to do this, buddy.
Oh no.
I knew this day was coming. I knew you'd betray me.
I knew it.
Just don't shoot the shirt. It's brand new.
I know. I just got this shirt. Just make sure you wash it and make sure all the blood gets out of it and everything.
I'll stitch it up too. Don't worry.
Thanks. You're a real friend.
Anyway, time to bury you in it.
But pretty much Lawrence is just like stalking this house.
Oh yeah.
He's got his dad's double barrel shotgun.
Did we ever mention the groundskeeper?
Oh no, we didn't mention Sing.
He's essentially, he knows what John is, and he has weapons galore designed solely for hunting werewolves.
He keeps silver shells,
Yes.
not bullets, shells, because you got to remember back then, high-powered, quote-unquote shotgun / rifles were used in big game hunting, and so he kept those full of silver, and he pretty much grabs a gun and loads up.
And it was his father's double barrel, right?
I think so, but when Lawrence arrives at the house, he finds Sing dead.
Yeah.
Because Lawrence doesn't care. John doesn't care anymore.
No.
And so he finds John at the piano, and he's like, the prodigal son returns. He's like, I'm proud to see you, having grown up into a man willing to stand up to me and everything. And Lawrence shoots. Nothing. John took the powder out of the bullets.
Every single bullet.
And John now has the silver cane. And so he starts to beat the crap out of Lawrence. He like sends him flying through the room and everything. We find that John killed one of Aberline's men. And this turns into a werewolf fight. Wah, 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 wah. And like the whole house catches fire.
It's
John,
very chaotic.
and this, I believe, is the scene that was reshot.
The burning mansion or the burning living room scene.
Yes.
I can see that.
Because like they don't really set up like a Mortal Kombat-esque werewolf fight like coming your way earlier on in the movie.
Yeah.
But John gets killed. He gets burnt alive,
Yes.
and his head gets knocked off.
Huh?
And his head gets knocked off.
No.
Yeah, huh? Because remember, the burning werewolf head rolls into the screen, and it just like devolves back into Anthony Hopkins.
I thought it was cut off. Because I thought Lawrence was able to get the cane as a werewolf.
I don't remember. I don't remember if he was using the cane or if he like knocked it off.
Regardless, he's decapitated.
Yes. And then Gwen shows up and Aberline shows up. Aberline gets attacked. He gets bit. Oh. I mean, Gwen runs off and he chases her in a pretty iconic sequence, I would say. In the woods, and we come to this place where John said he would. Lawrence said he would escape from his father, and Gwen has a silver bullet, and he corners her, and you really see him in the eyes. And I guess there's like 4 or 5 different endings for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's one where he kills her, one where she kills him, which is the theatrical known version.
Yeah.
There's one where he gets shot in like the arm and it cures him. And I think they both die in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But they settled on the one. And Lawrence reverts back to normal and says thank you. And Aberline and men show up, and it just kind of like cuts to the moon, and you hear a howl. Oh, I was gonna say, the one time I cue you up for it and you're not gonna do it, really let me down there, man.
I just gotta yank your chain here and there.
Oh, I know. But yeah, this movie kind of sets up a potential sequel. Kind of glad they don't, because I like it ambiguous.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, like, is it true? Will there always be a werewolf in Blackmore? But oh well. I'm happy with the ending.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
Very good movie.
Very good movie. Very good family drama / mystery / carnage candy.
Oh yeah.
Anything you want to add before we get to our questions?
Like I said, out of the movies we've discussed so far, and out of the movies that are later on our list, for me, this one isn't really up there, but it's still enjoyable. Like, don't get me wrong, I still loved it, but
Yeah.
just compared to everything else, it's kind of on that lower end.
It definitely has B movie vibes.
Yeah,
Like
but go ahead. Sorry.
it's just a early 2010s action / horror movie.
Yeah, but the point I want to get across is, one, this is your movie.
Yeah.
It's placed here because this is where you wanted it.
Yeah.
And two, just overall, it's good. It does a lot of things well. There's not I don't think there's anything I can complain about.
I can complain maybe about some of the pacing.
Yeah.
And maybe how it kind of forces a romance between Lawrence and Gwen.
Yeah. With that, I can actually complain about the pacing, because
once it hits that middle stride, that middle section where you get that point where he's healing, that just drags on for so long.
And it's like, for me, it's hard to keep track with the movie because there's foreshadowing, there's flashbacks, there's time skips. There's all this stuff going on, and you're just like, what's happening? Where am I? What's going on?
Yeah, and like if you really look at it, the entire plot of this movie takes place over like 2 or 3 months, and they don't make you feel that at all.
No. At most, it feels like maybe a week and a half.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
I would just say go see it if you want to see like a modern version of the Wolfman.
Yeah.
But other than that, this movie's really only for a very specific audience, I would say, and that would be werewolf fans.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it's a good movie if you want to try to expose your tweens to gore
Yeah.
and see how they would handle it, because it's kind of like overdone in this movie in a way where it's like almost comical in a way.
Like, I couldn't, for the life of me, when the first transformation happened, I couldn't take that carnage seriously just because of the little pit scene where the guy falls in and an arm
It's really
flies
just
out.
people making stupid horror movie decisions.
Yeah. Even back then, they're still stupid in situations like that.
But yeah, but back then they threw themselves into a line of fire for it.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. I have 3 questions here.
I do too, and I didn't. Do you have any that were written down?
Yes.
Okay, well, mine were not, and I came up with them as we were discussing the movie.
Okay, give me your first one.
Okay, if you were, so you said there were 4 endings, one where Lawrence lives.
Yes.
If you were Lawrence and you lived, what would you do afterwards?
I would probably, seeing as how the family home is burned down, I'd probably move. I'd probably move to a country where I've never been and just kind of like live there with Gwen or whatever.
Right.
Because like every memory you've had of that place is gone, and now it's even more traumatized.
And even then, like, the memories you did have probably weren't the best.
Right. What about you?
Well, what was the inspector's name?
Aberline.
I'd probably try and take him out because knowing like Lawrence's luck, Aberline would be going after him for sure,
Right.
and that would just probably lead to another werewolf fight. So,
Yeah, or Lawrence getting transformed again.
yeah. So if anything, I would try and take him out before he turns into a werewolf,
Yeah.
like during broad daylight, because I'm already a wanted man. What's
Yeah.
another hit on that list?
Right. My first question is, would you want to be saved?
Yes. Just because, like, do we know what would happen like if you were killed by someone that wasn't family?
We don't really know. They barely make the whole a loved one rule apparent. But
Like, I would want to be saved personally because just going off of a whim and saying that this is like a worst case scenario, I don't want my soul to be trapped in a decaying carcass of a wolf man for the rest of eternity.
right, and they don't really say like what your life is like afterwards.
Right.
Well, I guess you're dead, but like I don't know.
What about you?
I would say yes because I would just want it to be over, not knowing if you could ever be able to like trust yourself or know if you could make it to your bunker on time. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, what's your next one?
If there was a cure for the disease, would you take it if you were a vampire, werewolf?
Mm, that's a tough question because let's say there's no side effects, then yes. Or if there is side effects, like how atrophied would your body be from the transformations of like like your senses and everything are affected. Like, how would your body recalibrate itself, and how painful would that be?
All right, let me just. If you were to take the cure, you just go right back to being human, normal senses, normal strength, and everything.
And I would say yes.
I would probably have to say yes, just because the transformation looks painful, and doing that at the very least every couple of months.
At least once a month.
Yeah, at least once a month. No, thank you.
My next question.
I'd have to drink a lot of milk to make sure my bones are strong enough.
If you were Lawrence, what would you have done differently?
Just went to the New York.
I mean, I would have paid my respects because he found out his brother was dead. Like, well, I did my part. I helped you find him.
Like, you're ready.
What's your first question?
Okay. My first question is, if you were Lawrence and you survived, what would you do afterwards?
I'd probably just take my life and just go somewhere else.
Right.
What about you?
Me personally, I'd probably have to go. I would try and take out Apricot or whatever his name is.
Oh, Aberline.
Yeah, just because at the end of the movie we already know he's another werewolf, and he's a detective nonetheless. The last thing we want is for him to come after us.
Yeah. Would you stay like in your normal life if you got werewolfism?
See, I would try and, with the help of others, like I would try and, make the most out of it. Like I would try and control it as best as I could.
Right.
Like key phrases or key actions that others would do would just snap me back into more like a, oh, I'm werewolf now. Yippee.
I'd probably leave and try to contain myself as best as I could.
Right.
Yeah. What's your next question?
Okay. So we know that a werewolf's weakness is silver.
Yeah.
If you had armor made completely out of silver, do you think you could win in a fist fight against a werewolf?
I mean, you'd be able to do damage to him, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I feel like
I think the best way to think about it is like silver's a damage multiplier.
oh Lord.
Like if you're hitting and you do 10 damage, silver's gonna do like 2.5 damage. 2.5 times the damage. So like you just keep hitting the wolf, they'll just keep I can't hit this guy. He's full of silver. What do I do?
It only took this many episodes for you to start bringing D&D into this show.
What's your last question, sir?
I closed my journal on accident.
Nerd.
You're the one who's talking about D&D over here. I did have it somewhere. I can't skip the page. Oh, sorry. What would you have done differently if you were Lawrence?
All things considered, I probably just wouldn't have visited Blackmore.
yeah, that's a good one.
Like, oh, I don't have any connection to family there. I don't see a reason to go back.
I'd probably just go to pay my respects, and I'd probably just leave. Because,
Right.
like, you are under contract.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand, like, you give them bereavement or something, but, like, you're still under contract.
Right.
So, yeah.
The best way I can think about it is if you're able to control the werewolfism, I guess technically you could be called a lethal protector.
Is that supposed to be a nod as to the next movie?
Mayhaps.
You want to tell us what our next movie is?
Is there anything you want to add before I do?
Only the fact that a werewolf you could consider to be a symbiotic relationship.
Oh, absolutely. Anything else? I'll take that as a no.
I don't think werewolves like spiders.
Oh my god. Now you're just reaching for straws.
I really am.
So our next movie is going to be part of my top 10, and it's the Venom movie from 2018.
Oh yeah. I remember you and I going to see this in theaters when it came out.
Oh yeah.
We were hoping this was going to be like a brutal, borderline Marvel horror movie.
And it wasn't, but we were still impressed with it.
Yeah, because it was still Tom Hardy doing Tom Hardy things.
Oh, I could care less if it was Tom Hardy or not. I just like
Really?
Venom.
You don't like Tom Hardy as Venom?
He's not bad, but like I said, I just like the concept of Venom.
Right.
And giving him his own solo movie is really nice.
Because I honestly sometimes think the character is better without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But that is my complete opinion. There are people who will probably shoot me right now, but
that's a discussion for next episode.
It is. So until then, I am Logan Thomas.
I'm Caden Green.
And we'll see you next time on
The Real Bros.
See you guys later.
Oh!
You are not a werewolf of London. Bye, guys.